This is where it started for me, 107th and Broadway. My mother had called me and woke me up, notifying me that she saw on the news a plane had hit one of the towers. Grabbed my gear, shot over here from Queens where I lived, borrowed my buddy's motorcycle, and made a beeline straight south on Broadway, heading for the towers. On my way down south, I came upon an unmarked cruiser, jumped right on his bumper, followed him all the way down. Dumped the bike a couple blocks in from there, jumped off, started running directly south towards the towers.
It's amazing as far as feels like it was just yesterday, and yet feels like a lifetime ago.
As far as right when the towers fell, there was a moment of chaos. I mean, you could see people, in a sense, sort of losing their mind. You know, what happened, running around, not knowing what to do. My job is to not run away, but to run in, get in the middle of it, and document it so that the world can see what has happened, and families can see, loved ones can see what has happened.
Wow.
When I went through these, it was literally the night of, about 9 o'clock, and finally the post got a hold of me and said I had to come in to get my work in. Came in and I was still covered in dust, skin was still, really burning, and did a quick edit. This day changed a lot of people's lives, obviously, forever. I can say how it changed mine. I'd only been doing photography professionally for only a couple of years at this point, so I was still new. It cemented my path as far as pursuing photojournalism. It's unbelievable. I mean, what a fantastic, this is beautiful. It's been sitting, never been seen. It was tough, you're trying to shoot in that environment. I mean, the smoke was so thick. The wind would change directions, the smoke would clear, and then all of a sudden you would just see in utter clarity a pile of rubble and the massiveness of it, just in utter destruction. I mean, there was nothing left. I'm jumping, beams, these massive steel beams sticking out. I just piles. It felt like the whole world had just been destroyed. But the firefighters, and NYPD officers, I mean, they got to it. This was the first chain of rescue was getting up into the pile, and looking for any survivors. I mean, you look at this, and obviously, you're not going to think that anybody had the chance to survive. But man, nobody quit, nobody hesitated. It's like I remember shooting. Like here's this guy right here that's covered in dust, and he's got a water jug and coughing badly. And I vaguely remember shooting it. I think to me, this shot, which is one of my favorite photographs that I took from the day, I think tells it all as far as pike in hand, looking at this massive rubble of what was once, the glorious World Trade Center towers. And this is firefighter Matthew Long. And, just looking at it and saying, hey, you know what? I'm not quitting. It's time to go to work. This is a firefighter, Mike Bellatoni, out of Staten Island. And he came across on the ferry. And that's the ferry axe, which he grabbed off the ferry because they had no equipment. And I saw Mike down on one knee. And I took boom, boom, quick 3 frames, and then I went up to him. Were you just doing what I thought you were doing? He's like, yeah, I just said a prayer for those that didn't make it. This was just his moment before he went in and attacked the pile, with an axe that he got from the ferry that he rode over. They're pulling out one of their own. And this is all the day of. I mean, I'm amazed that, that I don't remember where that was as far as that they had a truck, a ladder truck working. This was along the West Side Highway. There were other firefighters around, but he just kind of found this little spot and needed a moment to himself, I believe. This was shortly after, these firefighters that had found one of their brothers. The courage of that day and the bravery of that day, it's stuff of myth and legend. I remember there was a firefighter that was slumped over, sitting by himself. I walked over and sat down next to him and, asked him if he's all right. And, he just, staring at the ground, just said, I'm the only one alive. The rest of my company, they're all gone. And what do you say? I mean, I just put my hand on his shoulder. It wasn't probably until towards the end of the afternoon, before Tower 7 was going to fall, and they called us all out of the pit, that I putting the cameras down and really sort of had a moment of, sort of scope of kind of hitting. That was the first point when the real emotional end kind of, started setting in. I mean, these are people that right there, lived through it. I'm blessed to have been there and have been a part of it, and to see, you know, Americans just, you know, not quitting, and no matter how bad and no matter what you throw at us, you know, we will not stop.